Your bread is poisoning you, and the company's making it know exactly what they're doing. That loaf you bought yesterday contains ingredients banned in Europe, Canada, and China. Things that have been linked to cancer, ADHD in children, and diabetes in lab animals, but here in the US, they're perfectly legal. In the next 20 minutes, I'm going to expose exactly which 7 bread brands you need to avoid and why. I'll show you what's really in them, what it's doing to your body, and most importantly, what you should be buying instead. By the end of this, you'll never grab the same loaf again. Drop a comment with the brand you're buying right now. Let's see how many show up on this list. 7 Wonderbread, the childhood classic, the yoga mat chemical, industrial foam you fed your kids for decades. Wonderbread built its empire on nostalgia. Colorful polka dots, soft white slices, build strong bodies 12 ways. Open the ingredients list. Azotic carbonamide. Here's what they don't tell you. Azotic carbonamide makes yoga mats and shoe soles. The bread you're feeding your children? Rubber manufacturing chemical. When heated during baking, breaks down. Semicarbazide, urethane, both carcinogens. Banned in EU, Australia, multiple countries. Here in the US, legal. FDA allows 45 parts per million. Why risk it? Azotic carbonamide makes dough easier to handle, faster, cheaper. Your health isn't priority. Their efficiency is. Squeeze a Wonderbread loaf right now. Feel it compress like a sponge and bounce back. Real bread doesn't do that. This softness comes from the Chorleywood process. Bread made in 3 hours instead of 12 to 16 hours. High-speed mixers beat air into dough violently. Destroys natural gluten structure. Your digestive system works harder. That bloated feeling after sandwiches? That's your body struggling with chemically accelerated bread. Wonderbread also contains calcium propionate, a preservative linked to behavioral issues in children. Irritability, sleep problems, difficulty concentrating. Study in Journal of Pediatrics and Child Health. Children with ADHD symptoms given bread with calcium propionate showed worse behavior. Remove the preservative, symptoms improved. The bread marketed to children makes children's behavior worse. The flour? Enriched bleached flour, bleached with chlorine dioxide or benzoyl peroxide, creates alloxin. Alloxin equals compound scientists use to induce diabetes in lab rats. Diabetes-causing compound, created when flour is bleached. Wonderbread uses this process. Sodium, 230 milligrams per slice. 2 slices equals 460 milligrams, nearly third of kids' daily limit. Haven't eaten lunch yet. Here's what the polka dots hide. Wonderbread isn't food. It's industrial foam held together with chemicals banned in other countries. Your fix? Read ingredient lists. If you see azotic carbonamide, calcium propionate, or enriched bleached flour, don't buy it. The childhood classic. The yoga mat chemical. You fed your kids foam. Nostalgia won't protect you from the next brand's natural deception. 6. Nature's Own. The natural lie. The wholesome packaging. Synthetic chemicals hiding behind a green label. Nature's Own screams, healthy choice, earthy tones, wheat imagery. The word nature's right in the name. Flip the bag over. Reality hits. Nature's Own means nothing legally, not regulated, not certified. Pure marketing designed to trick you. Check their honey wheat bread. You'll find DATEM, diacetyl tartaric acid esters of mono and diglycerides, synthetic emulsifier. Research shows emulsifiers disrupt gut bacteria. Your gut regulates immune system, mental health, digestion. Mess with that balance daily, you're affecting your entire body. Studies link emulsifiers to inflammatory bowel disease, metabolic syndrome, leaky gut. Here's what Nature's Own doesn't tell you. Mono and diglycerides often come from animal fats. They don't specify which animals. Vegetarian, vegan. Avoid pork? You might be eating ingredients that violate your beliefs. Nature's Own contains high fructose corn syrup. Why does bread need HFCS? Makes it sweet. Triggers addiction-like brain responses. You buy it again. HFCS is linked to fatty liver disease, obesity, metabolic syndrome. Banned or restricted in many countries. Nature's Own puts it in healthy bread. The flour is enriched wheat flour, started as whole wheat, stripped of bran and germ, bleached white, synthetic vitamins added back. Your body doesn't absorb synthetic vitamins like real nutrients. Nutritionally dead flour with a vitamin injection. Smell a loaf when you open it. Faint chemical sweetness. Not wheat. That's HFCS and dough conditioners. Real bread smells like grain, yeast, sourdough. This smells like a factory. Nature's Own uses soybean oil, highly processed. Excessive omega-6 fatty acids. Promotes inflammation. Chronic inflammation contributes to arthritis, heart disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's, and unless it says organic soy, you're eating GMO soybeans. Over 90% of U.S. soy is GMO, sprayed with glyphosate. Roundup linked to cancer. Glycemic index 72. Nearly as high as pure sugar, blood sugar spikes, insulin floods, crash within 2 hours, tired, hungry, craving more carbs. For diabetics, disaster. For kids, energy crashes all day. For weight loss, impossible. Nature's Own also uses calcium sulfate, plaster of Paris. Same stuff for wall repairs. Interferes with iron absorption, causes digestive upset. Here's what the green packaging hides. You're paying more for better marketing, not better ingredients. Synthetic emulsifiers, HFCS, GMO soybean oil, blood sugar chaos, all there, just wrapped in green. Your fix. Natural on label means nothing. Zero regulation. Check for datem, HFCS, soybean oil, enriched flour. See them? Walk away. The natural label. The synthetic ingredients. Marketing 1. Natural hides chemicals, but premium pricing for cheap ingredients? That's next. 5. Sara Lee, the soft texture lie. The inflammatory oil bomb. Industrial processing that destroyed what your gut needs. Sara Lee built its reputation on one word, soft. Nobody doesn't like Sara Lee. That signature softness, not quality, not careful baking, chemicals, industrial violence. Open a package, tear a slice, pulls apart in perfect uniform threads, like cotton candy. Real bread doesn't do that. Real bread has varied structure, natural fermentation. Sara Lee's texture, artificial. Chorleywood process. Dough mixed at high speeds for minutes, not hours. Generates heat, destroys gluten structure. Result? Soft bread that's harder for your digestive system to break down. To compensate, Sara Lee loads bread with soybean oil. Check ingredients near the top. Makes bread feel moist, soft, incredibly cheap. Here's what they don't tell you. Soybean oil equals one of most inflammatory oils you can consume. Loaded with omega-6 fatty acids. Your body needs balance. Ideal ratio? 1:1 to 4:1 omega-6 to omega-3. Average American? 20:1. That imbalance drives chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation isn't acute injury inflammation. It's low-level, constant, damages cells, tissues, organs over years, contributes to arthritis, heart disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's, cancer. Soybean oil is a major driver. Unless Sara Lee says organic soy, it doesn't. You're eating GMO soybeans sprayed with glyphosate. Who classified glyphosate as probably carcinogenic to humans? Sara Lee also uses calcium sulfate and monocalcium phosphate as dough conditioners. Calcium sulfate equals plaster of Paris. Speeds production, increases profits, destroys nutrition, enriched bleached flour, stripped, bleached, synthetically fortified. Your body struggles to process it. Eat Sara Lee for breakfast at 7 a.m. By 8:30, blood sugar spiked and crashed. Glycemic index 73. Tired, unfocused, reaching for coffee. By 10:30, starving again. This isn't hunger. This is blood sugar chaos engineered by ingredients. Sara Lee contains 2 grams sugar per slice. Added sugar, not natural. 2 slices equals 4 grams sugar before you put anything on it. Add PB&J, you're eating cake for lunch. Sodium, 200 milligrams per slice. 4 slices throughout the day equals 800 milligrams just from bread. American Heart Association recommends 2,300 milligrams maximum daily, ideally 1,500 milligrams. Excessive sodium damages blood vessels, overworks kidneys, leaches calcium from bones, contributes to osteoporosis. Tear open Sara Lee. Smell it. Faint sweetness plus something chemical. Dough conditioners and preservatives. Real bread smells like wheat and yeast. This smells engineered. Leave it on your counter 3 weeks. Won't mold. Just gets drier. Won't decompose like real food. Preservatives made it biologically dead. Your fix. If bread stays soft for weeks without molding, that's not preservation. That's death. Real bread molds in 3 to 5 days because it's actual food. The soft texture, the inflammatory oils. Your gut paid the price. Inflammatory oils hiding in soft bread? Hit subscribe so you never miss warnings about ingredients companies don't want you to know about. Soft texture is engineered. Premium pricing for the same cheap ingredients is next. 4. Pepperidge Farm, the premium illusion, the budget ingredients. You paid double for the same chemicals. Pepperidge Farm sits on the top shelf. Sophisticated packaging, classic font, old-world bakery aesthetic. Costs $4 to $6, sometimes double other brands. Premium positioning, premium price, premium ingredients? Wrong. Flip over Farmhouse white bread. Read ingredients. Enriched wheat flour, water, sugar, yeast, soybean oil, salt, calcium propionate, monoglycerides, datum, calcium sulfate, soy lecithin. This is identical to budget bread ingredient lists. Same soybean oil, same calcium propionate linked to ADHD in children. Same synthetic emulsifiers disrupting gut bacteria. Pepperidge Farm charges premium prices for budget ingredients in prettier packaging. Break it down. Soybean oil equals inflammatory, GMO, glyphosate residues. Same as cheaper brands. Enriched wheat flour equals stripped, bleached, synthetically fortified. Same as Wonderbread. Calcium propionate equals behavioral issues in kids. Same as store brands. What are you paying extra for? Some Pepperidge Farm varieties contain caramel coloring, not sugar caramel. Chemical processed caramel that produces 4-methylimidazole, 4-MEI. Studies link 4-MEI to cancer in lab animals. California Proposition 65 requires warnings for significant amounts. Listed as possible carcinogen. One slice won't harm you, but multiple times daily for years? Accumulation matters. Pepperidge Farm also uses palm oil, highly processed, stripped of nutrition, used as cheap fat substitute. Here's what bothers me most. Deception of premium positioning, sophisticated packaging, higher shelf placement, nostalgic branding, creates illusion of superiority. But examine actual ingredients. Same problematic compounds as budget bread. You're not paying for better ingredients. You're paying for marketing, packaging design, brand perception. Open Pepperidge Farm. Bread feels slightly denser than Wonderbread, bit more heft. That's just more flour per loaf. They can afford it because you're paying premium. Actual ingredient quality? Identical to cheaper brands. Glycemic index? Still 71 for white varieties. Blood sugar still spikes and crashes. Inflammatory oils still there. Synthetic preservatives and emulsifiers still disrupting gut. Pepperidge Farm Farmhouse. Whole wheat sounds healthier. Check ingredients. First ingredient, enriched wheat flour, white flour. Whole wheat flour listed second. Primarily white flour with some whole wheat for marketing. Real whole wheat bread lists whole wheat flour first and primary. Enriched wheat flour first means mostly white bread with whole wheat for show. Sodium, 200 milligrams per slice. 4 slices equals 800 milligrams before anything else. For anyone monitoring blood pressure or heart health, significant. Here's what the premium packaging hides. You're giving your family same inflammatory oils, same synthetic preservatives, same blood sugar disruption as cheaper brands, just paying more. Your fix? Premium price doesn't mean premium ingredients. Compare ingredient lists side by side. Identical to budget brands? You're paying for packaging, not food. The premium price. The budget chemicals. You paid extra for nothing. Premium pricing for cheap ingredients is calculated, but the next brand's whole grain is pure fraud. 3. Arnold Oro Wheat. The whole grain lie. The reconstituted fraud. Nutrition that never came back. Arnold Bread, Oro Wheat on West Coast, built its brand on whole grains. Packaging covered in grains. Seeds. Whole grains. 100% whole wheat. Hearty, healthy, wholesome. Perfect label. Mid-range price. Seems smart. Health conscious. But Arnold's whole grain? Reconstituted fraud. Here's what that means. Real whole grain bread uses flour containing entire wheat kernel. Bran. Germ. Endosperm. All ground together. Never separated. Arnold doesn't do that. Arnold mills wheat. Separates components. Bran goes one way. Germ another. Endosperm another. Endosperm becomes white flour. Then later, they add back some bran and germ. Create whole wheat flour. Not the same as whole wheat flour never separated. Strip and recombine grain components? You destroy nutritional value, natural structure, vitamins, minerals, enzymes originally bound together, broken apart. Adding them back doesn't restore what was lost. It's like squeezing an orange, separating juice from pulp, adding pulp back, calling it whole orange. Technically, parts are there. Natural structure and nutritional integrity? Gone. Arnold's Country Classics. Whole wheat lists whole wheat flour first. Sounds good until you understand it's reconstituted. Third ingredient? Sugar. Why does whole wheat bread need added sugar? Masks lack of natural flavor from proper fermentation. Here's where it gets truly concerning. Some Arnold varieties contain potassium bromate, flour improver, makes dough more elastic, easier to work industrially, classified as possible carcinogen. International Agency for Research on Cancer. When heated during During baking, most converts to potassium bromide. Safer, most, but not all. Residual amounts remain in finished bread. Cumulative effect of eating daily for years? Unknown. Potassium bromate? Banned in EU, Canada, Brazil, China, because of cancer concerns. Legal in US. Regulatory loopholes. FDA urged bakers stop using it since 1991. Not required. Arnold continues using it. Increases production efficiency. Profit. Why risk it? Why use probable carcinogen when alternatives exist? Cheaper. Faster. Only reason. Sodium. 200 milligrams per slice. 2 slices equals 400 milligrams, nearly 20% daily limit. Arnold also uses soybean oil. Inflammatory omega-6, GMO, glyphosate residues. Open Arnold whole grains. See visible grains on surface? Cosmetic. Seeds sprinkled on top after dough formed. Actual bread base? Still reconstituted flour. Tear a slice. Slightly grainy but pulls apart too easily. Real whole grain, flour never separated, has resistance. Denser, requires chewing. Arnold's engineered soft through industrial processing. Taste mildly sweet despite whole grain claim. Added sugar masking, lack of flavor. Real sourdough whole grain has complex tang from 12 to 24-hour fermentation. Arnold's made in 3 hours. No time for flavor development. For diabetics choosing Arnold for whole grain, still getting blood sugar spike. Glycemic index 69, lower than white bread's 75, but high enough for insulin problems. Your fix. Real whole grain bread lists whole wheat flour first, and it should be flour that was never separated and recombined. If ingredients include sugar in top 3, you're buying cake disguised as bread. The whole grain claim. The reconstituted fraud. Real nutrients never came back. Whole grain fraud is calculated. When bread costs 50 cents, the math only works one way. 2. Store brands. Walmart. Great Value, Kroger. Target Good, and Gather. The 50-cent mystery. The reject wheat. Economics that only work if you're selling industrial waste. Every major retailer has store brand bread. Walmart's Great Value, Kroger, Target Good, and Gather. Safeway. Bottom shelf. Prices too good to believe. Sometimes 50 cents per loaf. Ever wonder how bread costs 50 cents when coffee costs $5? Right question. Math doesn't work unless something is very, very wrong. Economics breakdown. American wheat sells $5 to $7 per bushel. Needs milling. Adds cost. Processing into dough. Yeast, water, salt, labor, baking, energy, equipment, packaging, shipping, distribution, all costs money, real money. So how does store sell bread for 50 cents? And profit? Simple. Disturbing. Not using quality wheat. Using cheapest possible flour. Lowest possible sources. Store brand bread uses reject wheat. Wheat that didn't meet quality standards. Higher contaminants. Broken kernels. Inconsistent protein. Sold at deep discounts to manufacturers who only care about price. Milled. Using industrial rollers generating heat, destroys remaining nutrients, bleached with chlorine, enriched with synthetic vitamins. Your body doesn't absorb synthetic vitamins like natural nutrients. Nutritionally dead flour with vitamin injection. Store brands contain highest preservative levels, calcium propionate at maximum legal limits. Real bread molds in 3 to 5 days. Store brand lasts 3 weeks because preservatives made it biologically dead. Check. Great Value ingredients. Modified wheat starch, created by chemically altering starch with acids, enzymes, even radiation. Why? Make cheap bread softer, last longer. But modified starches cause digestive issues, bloating, gas, irregular bowels. Store bread contains less than 1 gram fiber per slice. Body needs 25 to 30 grams daily. Eating bread with almost none? Missing crucial nutrition. Lack of fiber means slow intestinal transit. Toxins aren't eliminated. Constipation, bloating. Long-term low-fiber diets linked to colon cancer. Diverticulitis. Great Value contains vegetable oil. Vague term equals refined rapeseed, palm, or soybean oil. Highly processed, often rancid. High inflammatory omega-6. Open store brand. Smell it? Barely any aroma. Faint sweetness, something chemical. Real bread smells like grain and yeast. This smells like factory. Tear a slice. Unnaturally soft. Uniform. No air pockets. Perfect industrial consistency. Sodium, 180 to 220 milligrams per slice. 4 slices equals 900 milligrams, nearly 40% daily limit. Glycemic index, 75 or higher. Higher than pure sugar at 65. Blood sugar spikes, pancreas floods insulin, crash within 2 hours. Direct path to insulin resistance and diabetes. Here's the truth. Store brand bread engineered to hit lowest possible price while technically qualifying as bread under FDA regulations. Not designed to nourish. Designed to maximize profit margins for retailers knowing most shoppers decide on price alone. zone. Your fix. If bread costs 50 cents, ask how that's possible. Real ingredients cost real money. Impossibly cheap prices mean corners cut somewhere, usually ingredient quality and your health. The 50-cent price. The reject wheat. You saved money, lost health. Reject wheat sold as food? Subscribe and turn on notifications so you catch every investigation before you buy. Store brands cut every corner, but number one combines the worst of everything. 1. Schmidt's Old Time. The old-fashioned lie, the modern carcinogen cocktail. Highest sodium hiding behind nostalgia. Schmidt's Old Time bread. Name is pure marketing genius. Old Time, spelled with Y to evoke nostalgia. Traditional methods. Wholesome baking, vintage packaging, classic font. Positions itself as authentic bread made like grandparents remember. All a lie. Schmidt's contains some of most problematic ingredients in mass-market bread. Combines everything discussed, then adds more. Potassium bromate, flour improver, classified as possible carcinogen, banned in EU, Canada, Brazil, China. Schmidt's continues using it because makes production more efficient. But Schmidt's doesn't stop there. Sodium. Schmidt's Old Time 647. Wheat contains 240 milligrams per slice, among highest in any brand. 2 slices equals 480 milligrams. 4 slices equals 960 milligrams just from bread. Excessive sodium damages blood vessels, raises blood pressure, overworks kidneys, leaches calcium from bones. For seniors managing hypertension, dangerous. For kids, establishes harmful taste preferences. Schmidt's uses enriched bleached flour. Stripped, bleached, synthetically fortified. Bleaching creates alloxan, compound used to induce diabetes in lab animals. Contains high fructose corn syrup, makes it sweet so you buy again. Linked to fatty liver disease, obesity, insulin resistance. Schmidt's contains soybean oil, inflammatory, GMO, calcium propionate affecting children's behavior, datum disrupting gut bacteria. Some varieties contain TBHQ, preservative also used in biodiesel, lacquers, resins, varnishes. Studies link TBHQ to DNA damage, tumor incidence in lab animals. Open Schmidt's. Smell it. Faint chemical sweetness under generic bread aroma. Real traditionally made bread has complex aromas from slow fermentation. Schmidt's smells like 3-hour industrial process. Terra slice. Soft, uniform, no natural variation, no air pockets, no resistance. Just industrial consistency from high-speed mixing and chemical conditioners. Color suspiciously uniform. Real whole wheat varies slightly. Schmidt's looks identical loaf to loaf because everything's standardized. Fiber. Schmidt's 647. Wheat contains 2 grams per slice. Should contain much more given wheat branding. Low fiber reveals primarily white flour with some wheat for marketing. Schmidt's uses Chorleywood process. Under 3 hours from flour to loaf. Traditional bread requires 12 to 24 hours. Natural fermentation develops flavor, breaks down digestive compounds. Schmidt's skips all that for speed and profit. For diabetics choosing Schmidt's wheat thinking healthier? Not. Glycemic index 71. Blood sugar spikes. Insulin chaos. Nutritionally barely different from white bread. For families attracted to old-time branding and nostalgia, you're buying modern industrial bread with vintage marketing. Nothing traditional about ingredients or process. Pure manipulation of emotional connections to sell harmful products. What frustrates most? Deliberate deception. They know old time evokes grandma's kitchen, slow baking, wholesome food. Weaponizing emotions to sell product containing probable carcinogens, inflammatory oils, excessive sodium, synthetic preservatives, blood sugar disrupting refined flour. Your fix. When bread packaging evokes nostalgia or tradition, check ingredients extra carefully. Real traditional bread has simple, recognizable ingredients. If you see potassium bromate, TBHQ, HFES, enriched bleached flour, it's industrial product hiding behind vintage branding. The old-fashioned label, the modern carcinogens, nothing old-fashioned about cancer risk. 7 brands, yoga mat chemicals, carcinogens banned in Europe, ADHD-linked preservatives, diabetes-inducing bleaching agents, inflammatory oils, marketing hiding it all. But 2 brands prove bread can still be real when companies care about ingredients over profit. Go check your kitchen now. Count how many of these 7 brands are in your pantry. Then keep reading, because safe alternatives are worth knowing. First, Safe Pick. Dave's Killer Bread. Organic grains. Transparent sourcing. The ex-convict who made bread actual food. Dave's Killer. Bread proves bread can be real when you care about ingredients. Founded by Dave Dahl. 15 years in prison before joining Family Bakery. decided if he's making bread, doing it right. No shortcuts, no chemicals, no deception. Most important, USDA certified organic. No synthetic pesticides, no GMO, no artificial preservatives. Third-party verification. Organic wheat, not sprayed with glyphosate. Organic soy, not GMO. Organic grains not treated with chemical fumigants. Check 21 whole grains and seeds. Ingredients: organic whole wheat flour, water, organic cane sugar, organic cracked whole wheat, organic rolled oats, organic sunflower seeds, organic flax seeds, organic barley, organic triticale, organic millet, organic rye, organic cornmeal, organic oat fiber, organic brown rice, sea salt, organic wheat gluten, organic sesame seeds, organic pumpkin seeds, organic quinoa, yeast, organic cultured wheat flour. Every grain organic, every seed organic. Even sugar is organic cane sugar, not HFCS. Cultured wheat flour equals natural preservative from fermented wheat, not calcium propionate, no azodicarbonamide, no potassium bromate, no datum, no soybean oil, no artificial anything. Dave's contains 5 grams protein and 5 grams fiber per slice. More protein than an egg, more fiber than most get from entire meal. Texture noticeably different, denser, more substantial. Requires actual chewing. How bread should be. Taste complex. Individual grains. Nuttiness of wheat, sweetness of oats, earthiness of rye. Real grain flavor, not chemical enhancers. Dave's has no artificial preservatives. Lasts 5 to 7 days before mold. That's normal. Real bread does this. For diabetics, Dave's has lower glycemic index, around 55 versus 75 for white bread. Whole grains, seeds, fiber slow digestion, prevent insulin chaos. For kids, actual nutrition. Protein for development. Fiber for digestion. B vitamins from whole grains. No ADHD-linked preservatives. No inflammatory oils. Yes, Dave's costs more. $5 to $7 per loaf versus $1 to $3 for industrial bread. But you're paying for organic ingredients, transparent sourcing, food that actually nourishes. Dave's proves making real bread is possible. Requires caring about ingredients over profit margins. Real bread. Real ingredients. Redemption story delivering quality. Second safe. Pick Ezekiel 4:9. Food for life. Sprouted grains. Biblical recipe. No flour at all. Bread made 2,500 years ago. If Dave's represents modern organic done right, Ezekiel represents ancient methods nourishing humans for thousands of years. Ezekiel 4:9, based on Bible recipe. Take wheat and barley, beans and lentils, millet and spelt. Put them in storage jar and use them to make bread. That's exactly what this is. No modifications. No industrial shortcuts. Just sprouted grains combined like ancient cultures did. Here's what makes Ezekiel fundamentally different. Not made from flour. Every other bread starts with flour. Grain milled into powder, reconstituted with water. Even Dave's uses flour. Ezekiel uses sprouted whole grains. Grains soaked until they sprout, then combined into bread. No milling, no flour. Just sprouted living grain. Why sprouting matters when grain sprouts: activates enzymes breaking down starches into sugars, proteins into amino acids, fats into fatty acids. Pre-digestion makes nutrients more bioavailable. Sprouting also increases vitamin content. Vitamin C, B vitamins, amino acids increase during sprouting. Grain becomes more nutritious preparing to grow. Sprouting reduces phytates that bind minerals, preventing absorption. Sprouting breaks down phytates, allowing body to actually use minerals. Check Ezekiel. Original ingredients: organic sprouted wheat, filtered water, organic sprouted barley, organic sprouted millet, organic malted barley, organic sprouted lentils, organic sprouted soybeans, organic sprouted spelt, fresh yeast, sea salt. 9 ingredients, all organic, all sprouted. No flour, no sugar, no oil, no preservatives, no chemicals. Ezekiel found in frozen section. Why? 0 preservatives. Only way to keep fresh is freeze. Frozen storage equals good sign. Real food that will spoil. Industrial bread lasting 3 weeks has been chemically treated. Texture dense, substantial, requires real chewing. Density from whole sprouted grains, not chemical conditioners. Toast Ezekiel. Becomes crispy outside, moist inside. Sprouted grains develop nutty, earthy flavor. No generic bread taste, just grain. Complex, satisfying, nourishing. Nutritional profile exceptional. 5 grams protein and 3 grams fiber per slice. More importantly, complete protein containing all 9 essential amino acids. Rare in bread. For diabetics, Ezekiel has lowest glycemic index, around 36 versus 75 for white bread. Sprouted grains and no added sugar mean blood sugar rises slowly instead of spiking. Ezekiel contains no added sugar whatsoever. Slight sweetness from natural breakdown during sprouting, nothing added. Sodium low, 75 milligrams per slice versus 200 milligrams in industrial bread. Yes, Ezekiel costs more, $5 to $6 per loaf, but you're paying for most nutritionally complete bread available. Organic sprouted grains, complete protein, low glycemic index, zero chemicals. This is bread as it was made for thousands of years before industrial processing. What humans ate to build civilizations. Sprouted grains, biblical recipe, food nourishing humans since ancient times. And there you have it. From yoga mat chemicals to sprouted biblical grains, we've exposed what's really in those plastic bags. Truth is, most bread isn't bread. It's industrial foam engineered for profit, chemically accelerated, synthetically preserved, loaded with compounds banned in multiple countries. But real bread still exists. Dave's Killer. Bread proves you can make real organic bread at reasonable prices. Ezekiel 4:9 proves ancient methods still work. Go to your kitchen right now. Take out every loaf. Read ingredient lists. See azotic carbonamide, potassium bromate, datum, HFCS, or lists longer than 15 items. Get rid of it. Replace with bread having fewer than 10 ingredients you recognize. Organic whole grains, real seeds, no chemicals. Your body will notice within a week. Better digestion, stable energy, no bloating, no crashes. Goal isn't never eating bread. Goal is eating bread that actually is bread, not chemical foam. Share this with someone who needs to know. Subscribe so you never miss investigations like this. Your kitchen is about to get cleaner. Your body is about to get healthier. Now go check your pantry.